Shabbat Shalom and Rosh Chodesh Tov. What's going on? This week, it's not only Shabbat, but it's also Rosh Chodesh. It is a new month. So what happens? Do we read the Parsha? Yes. And then what happens? We read another Sefer Torah. And then what happens? Do we read the Haftorah for that Parsha? No. We read a special Haftorah. Haftorah for Rosh Chodesh. So where did the men of the Great Assembly get this one from? From Yeshayahu. Why? Because you got to hear what he says about Rosh Chodesh and Shabbos. It's always a connection. And we have to wait till the end of the Haftarah to hear about it. So who is this man, Yeshayahu? Let me tell you. What Moshe Rabbeinu, what Moses is to our Torah, as far as the chief prophet, the chief Navi, Isaiah was the same in the books of the Nevi'im, in the books of the prophets. No prophet had a greater talent or refined skill level to have prophecy than Yeshayahu. He was the greatest prophet after Moses. Just look at all the Haftorahs. About 20 out of the 80 of them come from the book of Yeshayahu. All of Shiva de Nechemta comes from there. Now, who was this man? Well, we know that he lived in Yerushalayim. Not only that, he was also a Kohen. So figuratively, he could walk into the White House, he could walk into the Capitol, he could walk into the Beit HaMikdash, he can go to the king's palace, as we'll see. And this man lived, he started having prophecies when he was at the age of 25, and it says that he lived till the 120. One of his children's name was Sha'ar Yashuv, the remnant will return. He knew the king Chizkiyahu, Achaz, Yotam, he knew these kings. He was in for 4 dynasties. And he lived before the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. So this is a great man giving us a great message. A Yerushalmi right before the destruction of the temple. Let's see what the Haftarah is about. Where do we look? The last chapter in the book of Isaiah. The last chapter. So here we go. 66, chapter 66. And it starts right in Pasuk Aleph. And what is it talking about? That tzaddikim will find comfort in the rebuilt city of Jerusalem. That one day that the Geulah will come. That Hashem has no desire for the offerings, for the karbanot of the wicked. So it starts, Ko Amar Hashem, Hashamayim kis'i, v'ha'aretz hadom ragloi. Eze bayis asher divnuli, ve'eze makam menuchasi. Wait a minute. This sounds exactly like a couple of weeks ago when we read Yeshayahu's Merkavah, that God's heavens is his throne and the ground, the Beit HaMikdash, is his footstool. God's not physical. But if you could imagine a spiritual Wi-Fi, the hot zone for God was the Beit HaMikdash. That was his connecting point. And that now, what is God saying? Guys, if you're going to come to the Beit HaMikdash, do it the right way. I don't need a Beit HaMikdash, God is saying. This is the place for you to help you focus and to communicate. When you pray, do you focus on a point or do you go all spread out? What are you thinking about when you're connecting to me? I've given you the Beit HaMikdash to help you. But he says, he asks something. He goes, I don't need, when you come here, shochet hasher makeh ish. If you slaughter an ox, the way you do these impure animals, it's like you're killing a person. Zoveach haser, the way that you burn a lamb. Oreif kelev, is like you break the neck of your dogs. This is disgusting to me what you're doing. So that now, God is being very, very clear to Yeshayahu to deliver this message to the people that if you're going to call yourself Jewish or Yehudi, then do it the right way. Do it as I said. Don't do what you want to do. Do what I ask you to do. The Haftarah continues that now, Gam ani evchar beta'aluleihem umugurosam avi. That now, what the Haftarah is saying is that God is not going to tolerate this disgusting things anymore from us. Shemu devar Hashem, hacharedim. Hey, I heard that word before. Where does it come from? It literally means the shakers, like we have some of them in Pennsylvania. Where does that come from? The original word in Hebrew is the shakers or the Quakers. What are they quaking about? That these men actually had the hasaga, the comprehension of what it was to perceive God and his ability to create and his almighty power. So now these people were trembling in front of God. You've heard that phrase before. And that now saying that anybody that hated my people that fear me, Laman Shemi Yichbad Hashem, that for my name's sake, that they were going to honor me, the people that honor me, and that we will see what is going to happen to the people that give my people a trouble, that the time will come, Kol Sha'on Me'ir, Kol Mehechol, Kol Hashem, Meshalem Gemula Oivav, payback time, that the people that made my people suffer are going to suffer, and that the state of peace that will exist in the state of Israel is explained to us that it's going to happen like this. It says that the birth of the nation, the rebirth of a nation, was going to be B'terem Tochil Yolada. That right when you go into birth pains, the baby's going to be born. This is going to happen quickly. Mishama Kazod. Whoever heard of such a thing? How is a nation born? Boom, quickly born. Quickly. And then you get the singing Haftorahman, the song. Simchu et Yerushalayim v'gilu ba. Kol ohaveha. So now, what do you have? The city of Jerusalem is going to rejoice and be happy, and all its loved ones. Sisu itam misos kol hamit'ablim aleha. That anybody that mourned her, anybody that felt bad for the city of Jerusalem, those people will live to see the day that the city will be repopulated. That you can see the giant 24-carat stick that Isaiah, Yeshayahu, is holding up for all the people that are holding on to hope of moving back to the city of Jerusalem after the exile. Ki'ish asher imo tenachamenu. That Yeshayahu goes out of his way to speak in a language that people can relate to. Who doesn't understand what it means for a mother's love, a mother's hug, a mother's kiss, that is saying that it's going to feel as good as that. Ureisem v'soslibchem, and that you will see, and I will make your hearts happy. So Yeshayahu is promising that these wonderful things are going to take place. Kein anochi en nachemchem, that I am going to be the one that comforts you. That even though I burn down the city, it will be rebuilt again. V'hamiskadshim v'hamitaharim el haganot. Achar batovech, ochlei besar hachazir, v'hasheketz, v'hachbar, yachdu yasufu na'um Hashem. Whoa! This is Avodah Zarah 101. What was going on in those days? There were gardens in the cities that they would go into and worship. And that in these gans, in these worship areas, they would eat pig, and they would have all different kinds of music and dancing and not nice behavior going on over there. That will come to an end. Those people will be finished. And now, the promise that the Goyim not only will be exiled and return to the land of Israel, but we will be riding on their shoulders, that they will bring us back to the city of Jerusalem, and that Kol Achechem Michol HaGoyim, all your brothers from all around the world, are going to be brought back Al Har Kodshi, Yerushalayim, to my holy mountain Jerusalem. And now the Haftarah ends with the connection to Rosh Chodesh. V'hoya, and it was midei Chodesh b'chodsho, on the day of Rosh Chodesh, umidei Shabbat. Listen, back in that day, the way you celebrated Shabbos was similar to the way you celebrated Rosh Chodesh. Now it pales compared how it used to be. It was like a Yom Tov. People would celebrate. People give a special korban. People said special prayers. And what's being promised to us is the restoration of that day. That Yavo kol basar lishtachavot lefanai amar Hashem, that everybody's going to come to pray and bow down in front of him. V'yatzu v'ra'u b'figrei ha'anashim, and that you will see that what happens, that the punishment of the wicked. Now, because this ends on a down pasuk about the punishing of the wicked, what do? We read the second to last pasuk again. V'haya midei chodesh b'chodsho, midei Shabbat b'Shabbato, yavo kol basar lishtachavot lefanai, amar Hashem. So, the better days are coming. And enjoy this week's Haftarah for Rosh Chodesh, and Shabbat Shalom.